two people can love each other deeply and still make each other feel completely unloved. Not because they stopped caring, but because they were speaking two different languages, and nobody ever gave them a dictionary. Marcus and Diane were what their friends called the perfect couple. 10 years of marriage, 2 kids, a home, shared values, genuine affection for each other, and a quietly growing distance that neither could name. Marcus showed his love by fixing things. The leaky faucet, the broken shelf, the car that needed servicing. He worked overtime so she could take a yoga class she mentioned wanting. He planned logistics, he solved problems, he showed up every single day, reliably, consistently. Diane showed her love by talking, by asking how he felt, by sitting close to him on the couch and wanting to know his thoughts, by saying, "I love you," and waiting to hear it said back. Marcus felt unappreciated. All this work, all this showing up, and it felt invisible. Diane felt unloved. All this presence, all this reaching, and it felt like she was reaching into empty air. Neither of them was wrong. Neither of them was failing. They were simply fluent in different emotions. Words of affirmation. Some people feel loved when they hear it. Verbal acknowledgement, appreciation expressed out loud is their primary emotional nutrition. Acts of service. Others feel loved when someone does something for them. Actions, effort, reliability. This was Marcus. Physical touch. Not necessarily romantic. A hand on the shoulder. A hug that lingers. Physical presence communicates safety and love to people wired this way. Quality time. Undivided, genuine attention. No phone, no distraction. Just presence. This was Diane. Gifts. Not materialism. Symbols. The thought behind an object. Evidence that someone was thinking of you when you were not there. Here is the crucial insight that most people miss. We almost always give love in our own language, and the person we love receives it in theirs. So Marcus worked hard in the language of service, and Diane waited for words that never came. Diane offered quality time in the language of presence, and Marcus felt smothered rather than seen. The solution is not complicated. It is just rarely taught. Marcus and Diane did a simple exercise. They each answered, "What makes me feel most loved? And what do I naturally do to show love?" The gap between those two answers was the entire map of their problem. Words of affirmation. Some people feel loved when they hear it. Verbal acknowledgement, appreciation expressed out loud is their primary emotional nutrition. Acts of service. Others feel loved when someone does something for them. Actions, effort, reliability. This was Marcus. Physical touch. Not necessarily romantic. A hand on the shoulder. A hug that lingers. Physical presence communicates safety and love to people wired this way. Quality time. Undivided, genuine attention. No phone, no distraction. Just presence. This was Diane. Marcus learned to say the words he had always felt but never said. Diane learned to see his actions as the love letter they had always been. 6 months later, they described their marriage as completely transformed. Not because either of them changed who they were, but because they finally learned to speak each other's native emotional language. You cannot love someone effectively if you only love them in your language. You have to learn theirs. And here is the beautiful thing. Asking someone, "How do you feel most loved?" is itself one of the most loving things you can ever do. The question is the gift. The curiosity is the love. Do you know your love language? Drop it in the comments. Words, acts, touch, time, or gifts.
and tell us if your partner speaks the same one.